And we're back, and that means it's time for the second book we're looking at today, and that is Codex Grey Knights. Grey Knights, the anti-demon force in the Imperium, the secret 666th chapter. Boy, that's edgelordy. Almost as again, much like the Black Templars, formed in the this says their own legends say they were formed in the last desperate days of the Horus Heresy. They kind of formally crystallized post-Horus Heresy. They say that they were created by the Emperor themselves from his own biology. I do find it interesting that they then say the truth is hidden in a separate grimoire in Titan that only the Supreme Grand Masters get to read, but they don't say what it is. It's like, there's a truth here. No one knows what it is. And in fact, there's only one Supreme Grand Master right now, and he's not showing up anytime soon.
He ain't here.
Yeah.
He's
not here, man.
Yeah. Kaldor Draigo, Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights. He's totally hooked on that warp dust and isn't coming back, man. But yes, the Grey Knights, who are formed specifically to fight against demonic incursions, and their war is so secret because if humanity knew that demons were a thing, they do, but if humanity found out what was involved in fighting the demons, it wouldn't be good for humanity because it would apparently lead to more incursions. So if you ever see the Grey Knights fight someone, no, you didn't, and they'll make sure you didn't by wiping your brain if they have to. Or so just murdering you.
Yeah. Or hollowing out.
Yeah. And yet they have been absolutely vital to very important battles throughout the galaxy, and yet only the Inquisitors know about them. Even like other Imperial forces. Oh, did the Imperial Guard fight alongside the Grey Knights? Well, looks like we're going to have to kill the regiment, guys. What? Yep.
Yeah. No other way.
Yeah. Did the sisters fight against the forces of Khorne? Well, it looks like we've got to kill all the sisters and wear them as hats. There's a deep cut for you.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
this is all fine.
It's fine.
But yeah, they are based off of the moon of Saturn, Titan. Their Forge World, they have their own Forge World that makes their particular war gear on Deimos, the moon of Mars. And that is their stuff, and no one else is allowed to go there or touch it or use it. Because, again, if you knew they existed, it would be bad for everyone for reasons. Yeah. Yeah. The threat of the demonic is so insidious that it must be battled in secret lest the mass of humanity be fatally corrupted. We can't let you know what we do, even though we're doing it for you. And if you ever find out, yeah, it would be bad. Every Grey Knight is psychically capable. And so this also... It makes them more attuned to determining where demons are appearing and makes them better focused on, more capable of fighting the demon. Also, they have this sidebar I found interesting, and I don't know if this has been in previous Grey Knight codexes. It may have been, and I missed it. But this bit about the Terminus Decree, this one kind of bothers me a bit. Held in a simple wooden box that only the Supreme Grand Master may open, which again means most Grey Knights don't know about it. The Terminus Decree details the Emperor's final command to the Grey Knights chapter. The Master of Mankind can never be allowed to leave the Golden Throne, either returned to life, reborn in another's body, or ascended as some kind of warp entity. And if he does, the Grey Knights must return him to his terrible duty. Indeed, they were created with the possibility of this event in mind, a task beyond the abilities of any other force in the Imperium. The decree offers no guidance on how such feats must be achieved, for it is neither a weapon nor a magic formula. Rather, the Grey Knights would themselves be the weapon on such a desperate day, one that would likely have to cut a path through the ranks of the Custodian Guard and many others to see its duty done. So all those Inquisitors who are trying to bring the Emperor back through various means, stop it. Because it won't end well for anyone. The Grey Knights will have to stop you.
This is fine.
Yeah,
It's
fine. It's, yeah.
and if it ever...
I do not recall that either from previous codexes, so that may be a new thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being so explicit. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if this is like a little breadcrumb of a storyline that they're going to put in. Imagine what if the Grey Knights had to turn traitor, not to serve the forces of chaos, but to get the Emperor to sit his ass back down on that chair.
Right.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
It is an interesting idea for like a plot thread of like Grey Knights having to fight the Custodes. Like that is like an interesting idea. So
This is a great episode. We go from space fascists to space secret police.
Yeah. Boy, again, remember, Imperium, not the good guys.
Yeah.
Again, the whole point of 40K is, do the bad thing. Lean into the bad ideas.
Yeah. So the Grey Knights do not follow the Codex Astartes. They supersede Guilliman's authority, at least as far as chapter organization. I think they do technically. I'm assuming Bobby G is like the one person that, besides the Inquisition, that gets to know that the Grey Knights exist.
I would imagine so. Yes.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah. Boy, that's going to be awkward if they have to fight him to get to the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see a good way for this to come out for anyone. But.
Well, maybe they could team up with Cypher. That's good, right?
Well, I mean, theoretically, didn't Cypher have a talk with the Emperor at one point? Yep.
He was in the throne room, yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, the Grey Knights are a force, like, they lean heavily into Terminator armor, although that's not everybody has Terminator armor. They have plenty of guys in normal power armor. Also, the one force to not be Primaris-fied. Probably because I'm betting Call doesn't know they exist either. Or at least if he does, he's not telling. So there are no Primaris Grey Knights, which that's got to be awkward when all the new guys are taller than you. Like, when the people you're fighting alongside, they're taller than you and you still have to kill them because they saw you.
Right. I will say that one of the few newer models that they have that's in plastic is the new Castellan Crow. And he is basically Primaris size. So I have a suspicion that it might just end up being my theory anyway, is whenever they do get around to updating the Grey Knight kits, they're just going to be Primaris sized and it's just going to be a hand wavy, they've always been this way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And not really Primaris, they were just as big and as cool and badass as Primaris is to start with. So
yeah, but as everything else has been slowly getting upscaled, they feel small. Like they're feeling more and more out of date. This line needs a refresh.
Their Terminators absolutely need a refresh.
What? I like my Terminator squad.
They've got cool looking Terminators, but they absolutely do need because they've got like the very specific like Grey Knight like Terminator head.
Yeah, the very medieval knight head.
Yes. Yeah, so like whereas we had the Crusaders with like the Black Templars, these guys have like a very specific knight look as well. Also, they are stuck with old boxy little dreadnoughts. Mm-hmm. They need a Grey Knight Redemptor dread really badly.
Yeah.
And instead we get the Nemesis Dread Knights, which were much maligned when they were first released. They've received, I guess, a sprue upgrade with the new Grand Master model, but it's still pretty much the Dread Knight with an extra sprue.
Yeah.
The Grey Knights, their army rule did not really change from the index, other than they kind of cut combat patrol out of being referenced, but otherwise it is pretty much the same in that Grey Knights teleport in a lot. And they will teleport around the battlefield to where they need to be, which is good because this is a very elite army with a small model count. So at the end of your opponent's fight phase, you select a number of units based on battle size that are not within engagement range, and they go back into strategic reserves, and a lot of your stuff has deep strike. So you get to teleport around the battlefield to be where you need to be. Basically, two units at 1,000 points, 3 units at 2,000, 4 units at 3,000. And one thing I have noticed playing when I've played against Grey Knights is that is useful for the first couple of turns. And then after that, they either tend to get stuck in or they tend to be where they need to be.
Yeah.
And it could also still apply late if they kill the things around them. Then they can
Yes.
just go where they now need to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So, unlike the Black Templars, no new units for this army, and let's pour one out, as always, for the units that didn't make the conversion over to a codex. Grey Knights actually lost 3. Now, one of them, Servitors, is not surprising. We've lost Servitors across, like, all the Space Marine armies. But 2 named characters, Kaldor Draigo, we mentioned him. The storyline even talks about how he is super lost in the warp now, and... like, he's shown up, he's been helpful. I thought it was cool when I was playing the Chaos Gate Demon Hunters and he shows up at a couple points in that game. Like, that's cool. Yeah, he is no longer appearing in this book because he does not have a plastic model. Same for Brother Captain Stern, the named Brother Captain. A couple of named characters, not surprising, although... looking at the new Darnith Lysander, it's like, it wouldn't take much to take that and turn it into a Kaldor Draigo. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shave off some fists on there, put some Grey Knight books on, and boom, you got a Kaldor Draigo conversion. But conversions are not a thing we really like to talk about in 40k apparently now. So no unit for you.
Yeah.
Which... I imagine he'll show up in a Legends document because there are plenty of people who have the Kaldor Draigo model, and it's not like their Terminators got redone or anything. So
Right.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that is a model that gets added back into the codex at a later point with like a mid-edition release of like, hey, here's Kaldor Draigo and like updated Terminators.
Right.
That feels like a thing that they'll do at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Besides, we've got a storyline fight where he's got to fight the Custodes that we're working on. So yeah, we're just gonna lean into that eventually they're gonna go rogue because the Emperor told them to. So starting off with data sheets, as always, we start with data sheets first. We've got Grandmaster Voldus, who is their like one of their 2 named characters. We'll get to the other one a bit later. Still the guy with a named Thunderhammer. He's tougher than before at 7 wounds now instead of 6. He also has a psychic ranged attack now, which is hitting on 2s, D3 plus 1 attacks, 12-inch range, strength 12, AP -2, 2 damage, devastating. So really good psychic attack.
Yeah.
And yeah, his hammer is pretty solid as well. 5 attacks, strength 10, AP -2, 3 damage. He's got deep strike. Again, most of the stuff is going to have deep strike. Units are -1 to be hit. You know, I think this is stuff he had before though, like -1 to hit his unit. And every time he fights, kind of like Helbrecht, he can cause mortal wounds just on a die roll. So he's a very solid unit army leader. We've got their Grandmaster, which is kind of a captain equivalent. Used to have the free stratagem ability. Like a lot of those, it's been changed to a reduce the stratagem by 1. Also, as you hinted at in the last portion, Richard, a model they didn't bother painting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you kind of just have to make one out of a Terminator and glue extra bits on him, or make him stand on a hero rock to make him stand out a little bit from the regular Terminators, but you're just using a Terminator from out of the Terminator kit to make these.
Right. Now, one thing he does have, one thing that did change, and we will see this across the army, is he can take a silencer as an option. That is silencer with a P, yes, because we are Psychic army. Everything that begins with S must begin with PS, so we will have the silencer. And the silencer, okay, I'll stop doing that. The silencer now has precision, and that is across the board.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That actually kind of gives it... didn't really have that much of a niche of why you would take that over a Psy Cannon.
Right.
And now I think it does, because, like, it just used to be, like, weaker shots, but you got more shots, But then the Psy Cannon was just stronger shots, so you generally went with the Psy Cannon.
Right.
I think there's, with precision involved, like, that gives you a reason to kind of take that now.
Right. No, totally. I think because before it's like, okay, so I've got an incinerator that gives me torrent. Okay, totally cool. Yeah, I get that. The Psy Cannon, that's the strong shots, fewer shots, but much stronger and more damage. Or you just had like the regular Storm Bolter, which gave you a fair amount of shots. The Silencer was a little bit better than a Storm Bolter, but now, yeah, precision and sustained hits and more shots. It totally has a place to be.
Yeah.
And then also there's the ability Might of Titan. Once upon a time, they had an ability to just ignore modifiers to hit. Instead, Might of Titan is once per battle, kind of like the Finest Hour for captains. Instead of getting dev wounds, you just get +3 attacks and +3 strength. So you go from strength 6 to strength 9 once per game, which cool. Also, this is when we see, and this was in the 10th edition index, so it's nothing new, but all those cool Nemesis Force weapons are just consolidated to Nemesis Force weapon.
Yeah, I'm still a little bummed about that, but oh well. It simplifies things a lot. And
right. No,
makes it a lot easier to list build.
Well, yeah, especially when you don't have points to balance them on. It's just like, okay, yeah they're all just kind of generically decent. And then moving on, the Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, who does, I guess, technically have a different loadout than the regular Nemesis Dread Knight now, thanks to that extra sprue they threw in.
Yep.
So, first off, they gave him a new weapon option, the Sublimator, which is a twin-linked Melta 4. Now, it is still a Melta weapon. It's strength 9 and kind of has multi-Melta-ish stats, 18-inch range, 2 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 9, AP -4, D6. But hey, this is an army that also likes to fight relatively close up, so getting an extra 4 damage at within 9 inches, not the worst thing. Also, a Frag Storm grenade launcher, so you've got a blast weapon, which if you're wading into units of demons, that's also not a bad option to have. And I believe the flail is new as well.
Yes.
Yep.
The both the flail and the mace are new. It just he used to just have fists, great hammer, and great sword.
Right. Which the great hammer is your really strong option, and strength 14, not shabby there.
Yeah.
Strength 14, D6 +1 damage with 5 attacks. Yeah, you can like murder knights with that thing. Like that'll get the job done. The flail is your lots of attacks option. Strength 10, or not strength 10, strength 5, but 10 attacks at with 2 damage each. So that's your kill marine equivalents option. The sword is just your good like all around strike or sweep. The sweep isn't as strong as the flail, so it does still give the flail a roll. And then the mace is interesting because that's got anti-character 2-up and precision and 3 damage apiece. So yeah. And
murder them characters.
Oh yeah. And then a Surge of Wrath used to be, this is, when you would fight a monster or vehicle, you could re-roll the hit roll, wound roll, and damage roll, and that was a once per battle. That is now just all the time.
Yep.
And then much like the regular Grandmaster, no free strat, but reduced cost of strat by 1.
Yes.
For this unit.
And most all of his melee weapons hit on a 2-up now, which I always thought was like a misprint because the regular Nemesis Dread Knight hit everything on a 3-up.
Yeah, it was like the Grandmaster was just a way to take another Dread Knight, and now it's like, no, this is a different, better Dread Knight. So that's cool. Let's see, we've got Castellan Crow. We've got Castellan Crow, the head purifier, and his Purifying Flame, which was always anti-infantry 2-up, ignores cover, went from AP 1 to AP 2, so very good at killing infantry, light infantry.
Yeah.
And he no longer has the ability to reduce damage against him. Instead, he can reroll hit rolls against characters, which his Black Blade is devastating wounds precision, so yeah. You've got your brother captain, which is, despite the fact that it's called a brother captain in this army, that's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Which is... So his leader, it kind of fits with the lieutenant because instead of him giving units sustained hits 1 on their melee attacks, he now gives them lethal hits in melee. So again, solid. And Terminator stat line: 5 inches of movement, 2 up, 4 up saves, 5 toughness, 6 wounds. Really sturdy character. Similar to like the Grandmaster has similar stat line, only one extra wound. You've got the Brotherhood Champion, which is another like a power armor level character rather than a Terminator character. Instead of giving the ability to fights first, which is a little too strong, as we've discovered in the game, they have advance and charge now for their unit, which makes sense. And again, Nemesis Force weapon with precision. Unlike most Nemesis Force weapons. So when he kills a character, the unit gains a CP, and his attack, he gains +1 attack on his Nemesis Force weapon. So he wants to kill characters and keep killing them.
Yes.
The Brotherhood Librarian, who had his Vortex of Doom ability.
Yeah, the Vortex of Doom used to be an ability.
Yeah, it did mortal wounds.
Right. And it's changed to just be a ranged weapon stat line.
It's a definite downgrade because the old one could do up to 2d6 mortal wounds. This one is d6 plus 3 blast. Strength 8, AP minus 2 damage, but it's not mortal wounds. So
yeah.
But I think that's more balanced and still going to be effective.
Yeah.
But also, he gives a unit 18-inch... the unit he's attached to is basically 18-inch lone op. So
yeah,
that's fine. I will trade that mortal wound output for lone op.
Right. That's pretty nice. That's one of the... I had noticed kind of a trend of a lot of like the defensive abilities, like Castellan Crow's ability to ignore damage and some of the other things that Draigo gone, and it kind of cut in a little bit to Grey Knight survivability, I feel like. Not like super drastically, but like just the abilities kind of changed to be more offensive than defensive. And this is one of the nice defensive abilities that they've actually gained, I think.
Right. Let's see. Then we get into the Brotherhood Tech Marine and Brotherhood Chaplain. Also, Sirs not appearing in this codex as far as like photos, which is funny because the index does have a picture of a Brotherhood Chaplain. So they've got one. Did they lose the model? Did they misplace it?
Yeah. I mean, it is basically just a chaplain model that they've... I think this is it. I think this is the model that's on this index card. I think is technically a conversion because they took the standard chaplain model and put Grey Knight shoulder pads on it.
Yes. And we can't have that now. We don't sell that as is, so you have to convert it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do find the choice of generic artwork interesting. Like, why is it this demon head thing?
Yeah, you'd think it's like have a picture of a Grey Knight.
Yeah.
But yeah, these units, the Brotherhood Tech Marine, I don't believe changed really at all. He is a Tech Marine. He does all the standard Tech Marine stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there really was no change to this data card at all from the index.
Oh, well, I do see one thing is that the Guardians of the Machine is a new ability. Like, he he lost the ability to, or I guess the +1 to hit got rolled up into, like, they combined the healing and hit roll ability into Blessing of the Omnissiah.
Right.
And they gave him an ability, like, if somebody charges one of your vehicles and he's within 6 inches, he gets to heroically intervene for free, even if somebody's already heroically intervened. So he's like, no, not my tank. Rawr.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, super situational. Like, I didn't put it in the notes because it wasn't a huge change. And, like, yeah, just the kind of the Blessing of the Omnissiah is just kind of one rule, like, that he had as 2 separate rules before, basically.
Right. Yeah. The Brotherhood Chaplain, on the other hand, before he was just kind of a bog standard chaplain in Terminator armor, and instead of +1 to wound, he lets you reroll charge rolls, and instead of like a 6-inch -1 aura of leadership to enemies, it's now just once per game you can unbattle shock a Grey Knight unit within 12 inches, which is what a lot of chaplains do now.
It is very interesting and feels kind of like a unique ability that I haven't necessarily... I don't remember hearing that on anything else before.
Yeah. Let's see, Brotherhood Terminators, which are battle line, which is always, you have battle line Terminators. Have fun, which I'm sure you will.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, we see the same upgrade to the silencer that we saw with, gaining precision. So again, it's, it actually has a special role. And they used to have lethal hits on the charge. They now instead have improved their AP by 1 on the charge unless they're fighting a monster or vehicle.
Yep.
Which does get their Nemesis Force weapons down to AP 3. The funny thing is, if you're fighting against demons, it doesn't matter because they have an invuln save. But It's nice. It's a nice thought. But against non-demon things, which it's a shame that the picture on this page has them fighting Slaanesh demons where that really wouldn't do anything. But I digress. But against all the non-demon armies, it'll be very useful.
Yeah, it is interesting because pretty much ever since kind of 5th edition, where they kind of got their big redo, they really haven't done a ton against specifically demons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's probably one of those things. If you work this army into too small a niche, then it becomes less good to play just across the board. So you gotta, if you make them too clearly anti-demon, it takes away from how playable they are. Let's see. Moving on, Strike Squad, your other battle line option. This is your pretty close to standard Marine equivalent. But they still have like Scout 6 inches, which they had before. They're still able to teleport around, and they still have sticky objectives. So still a very solid choice. Otherwise, they're equipped similar to, they're all Stormbolter and Force Weapon, and then 1 every 5 can take an Incinerator, Silencer, or Psy Cannon.
Yeah.
You've got Paladins, which are your better Terminators, like your veteran Terminators. They used to have the -1 to wound if the strength is higher than your toughness. They instead have, when they charge, they do +1 damage. I don't know. That feels like a downgrade, actually.
Yeah.
To me. But as you said, moving from defensive to offensive.
Right, exactly. This is another case where I don't quite see what their niche is to take over just the regular Terminators anymore.
Yeah, like the big thing I'm noticing is they hit on 2s instead of 3s compared to regular Terminators. But otherwise, like the weapon stats are the same, and you actually give up an OC.
Yeah.
And both can take banners to improve their OC. So it's like, yeah, I actually think... I mean, the hitting on 2s is nice, but I think you take Brotherhood Terminators most of the time.
Yeah, I think so. Because, like, that was the reason I took Paladins before was that whole, like, -1 to wound.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, you wanted, like, a defensive brick there, yeah.
Yeah, combine that with the Voldus's -1 to hit, and, like, you had a big 10-man Paladin squad that was hard to move.
Yeah. And now it's like, yeah, just take the Terminators. Regular Terminators are probably cheaper. So,
Yeah.
Moving on, Purifiers. This is the squad that kind of runs alongside Castle and Crow. Their big thing is they've got the same kind of purifying flame ability he has, with fewer shots each, but you've got more bodies in the squad, so that makes sense. And it also improved its AP by 1, so it's more likely to stick the wounds. Also, they no longer are good against units that are damaged, because they used to be like +1 to hit if their unit targets below starting strength, +1 to wound if they're below half strength. They are now instead reroll wound rolls of 1. If you're within range of an objective, reroll the wound roll entirely. So they're better at clearing things off of objectives and sticking wounds on things.
Yeah, which is all right. And like, Castle and Crow still has the ability that when he's leading a unit of purifiers, their purifying flame gets like an extra attack.
Right. And that's the only thing he can lead, so totally makes sense. We've got the old little boxy Venerable Dreadnought, which actually will be a bit better, gained 2 inches of movement, which is nice.
Yeah.
And instead of being an aura of like a 6-inch aura of, hey, people around me hit better, you hit a unit with one of his shooting attacks, and then everybody else that attacks that unit is +1 to hit. We'll see how useful that is, because most of the time you bring him to deal with the things that your normal infantry can't, like tanks. Because he is your like one of your few sources of las cannons in this army. So
right.
Let's see. We've got the Interceptor Squad, which after shooting, they can jump, which is nice. Like that, very solid for them. Also 12 inches of movement. This is kind of like your one flying, teleporting around unit. So great for harassing the enemy, and they can bring the same. Basically, it's a strike squad that can move faster and jump around.
Yeah, they're really strong. I've always really liked them, and they haven't particularly changed much at all from the Index.
Purgation Squad, on the other hand, giving them indirect fire, I think, has proven to be a mistake. They keep having to work around that with like errata and like detachment abilities. So they decided, we're just going to fix the glitch and we'll get rid of that entirely, and instead give them a pinning ability. So if you get hit by a Purgation Squad and you're not a monster or vehicle, you are -2 to move and -2 to charge.
Yeah.
And otherwise they're like a Devastator Squad. They can take 4 heavy weapons in a squad. So that's why you take them.
Yeah.
We've got the Nemesis Dread Knight, which does not have the flail or mace options, but it does have an equally good great hammer and great sword.
Yeah.
And can still advance, fall back, and shoot and charge. Like it is not limited in its movement does not limit its attacking abilities at all. Still very good. Like one of your few like big heavy hitter units.
Yep.
And then we get into like the very generic stuff: Land Raiders, Land Raider Crusaders, Land Raider Redeemer, which also does not have a picture.
For some reason.
Yeah. And then Rhino, Razorback. Their Rhino does provide a 6-inch aura of 6-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds. I don't know how often you'll actually use one of their Rhinos. It did trade that for self-repair, though. It no longer can self-repair. But
right. They just don't really need the transport around the battlefield.
No, now that they can just teleport around, it's really not necessary. And then they have their flyers. Yay.
Yeah.
Is anyone taking those? No? Okay, moving on. But that is the data sheets. So I see what you mean. Like they definitely switched from more of a defensive focus to an offensive focus, which I think makes sense. They are a more offensive force. You send them in to do things rather than to defend things.
Yeah.
Like the Custodes would be your defensive force more than anything. Like this should be a more offensive force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Moving on to detachments, there is no equivalent necessarily to the index detachment, which let you like auto advance 6 inches, and you got fly when you advance. That is gone now. But we've got 5 detachments as a Tau player. I am jealous, although we finally caught up, I think. So you've got the Brotherhood Strike, which every time a unit from your army is set up using Deep Strike, they can reroll hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1 that turn. And considering everything you have has that's not a vehicle has Deep Strike, and you can re-Deep Strike things every turn, that's solid.
Yeah.
And it's every attack, not just melee attack. So you're like redeploy a Purgation Squad and reroll ones and to hit and wound while shooting.
It's a good idea. I think even if you don't have to go anywhere, you're going to want to pick your maximum number of units to redeploy just to get this bonus.
Right, yeah. Let's see, and then your enhancements all kind of tie into Deep Strike. So you've got Banishing Wave, which is every time the Bears unit is set up using Deep Strike, roll a d6 for every enemy unit within 12 inches. On a 2 to 5, they suffer a mortal wound. On a 6, they suffer d3 mortal wound. So it turns your deep striking unit into a tiny orbital bombardment, which I think is fantastic.
Yep.
Blinding Aura, every time you Deep Strike, or every time this unit Deep Strikes, they can't be shot with Overwatch.
Kind of like that.
Yep. Purity of Purpose, every time the Bears unit is set up with Deep Strike, you can reroll charge rolls. Also very solid for this army.
Yeah.
And then Tome of Forbidden Ways, while this bear is on the battlefield or in strategic reserves, if they themselves are Deep Striking, add 1 to the number of units from your army that you can select for Gate of Infinity. I think that's a must-take for this army. I think that one... The others are are cool. Like, none of them are bad. Tome of Forbidden Ways is a must-take. And then, your strats, like True Silver Channeling to give your melee weapons devastating wounds, or Deep Strike within 3 or at 3 inches, but you can't charge. When you Deep Strike, you get sustained hits 1. If somebody falls back from one of your units, you can put them in strategic reserve. So you can just beyond the limit of what you have with Gate of Infinity.
Yeah.
Somebody shoots at you, you have stealth. Or at the end of your opponent's fight phase, you can put an infantry unit into strategic reserves. And again, that is in addition to those removed using Gate of Infinity. And it allows you to do them in engagement range. So you can just pull a unit out of combat and put them into strategic reserves. This is the one that leans into the army rule the most. And that one's good.
Yeah.
No downside.
I think this one is that kind of one we'll probably see the most, would be my guess, because it is, I think, one of the best, kind of all-round detachments.
Yeah. Next is Hallowed Conclave. This is your Terminator detachment. So your Terminator units from your army are eligible to shoot and declare charge in which they fell back, which I believe is your Voldus, your Grandmaster, your Brother Captain, and I think your Brotherhood Chaplain, and your Terminators and Paladins. So you've got a lot of units that will get benefits from that.
Yeah.
So shoot and charge after falling back. So you've got smaller units here, smaller elite units, so you don't necessarily want them to get stuck in. So this allows you to work around that. Your enhancements, Eye of the Augurium, Overwatch or Heroically Intervene for free, and even if someone else has already done it. Inescapable Judgment, every time an enemy unit falls back from you, they risk taking mortal wounds. They almost will be guaranteed to take mortal wounds. So if they fall, you can fall back from them. They won't want to fall back from you. So Sanctum Creeper, add 3 to your melee weapon attacks. Great. And then Nemesis rounds, also Terminator only. You can Overwatch on 5s. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of them are immediately an auto take, but they're all decent.
Yeah.
And then all your strats are, or most of your strats, I wouldn't say all of them. Okay, actually, only a couple of them are built around Terminators, but which is actually allows this to be a little bit more well-rounded, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, because +1 attacks for your Terminators in melee. When fight on death on 4-up for any of your infantry. Stormbolters gaining pistol and twin linked. So also, again, if you get stuck in, that's good. Although, I guess it's good that's for all infantry because my Terminators aren't going to care because they can fall back and shoot. But
right.
But the twin linked is good.
Yeah.
Grind them underfoot. After your Terminators end a charge move, you can do more, basically like Hammer of Wrath, do mortal wounds on 4-ups. Precognitive strategies. After somebody ends a move within 9 inches of you, you make a d6-inch move, and then Shining Resolve. Strength, it's like somebody targets you with an attack. If their strength is higher than your toughness, -1 to be wounded. So, good standard stuff. If you're going to lean Terminator heavy, I still think I would probably do Brotherhood Strike first, but it's interesting. Banishers. Every time a Grey Knight unit from your army is selected to fight, they can take a leadership test. If they pass the leadership test, they get one of the following rules. Melee weapons that are psychic, which is almost all of them, get sustained hits 1 or lethal hits. It's fine. You're going to be doing a lot of extra rolls.
Yeah.
Your enhancements, three of these are Grey Knights. 1 is Grey Knights Infantry. You've got Sigil of the Hunt, reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase, which everybody's got guns, so that's fine. Nemesis Dread Knight, rerolling hit rolls of 1 wouldn't be bad, especially for a Grandmaster that's sitting on 2s. So, yeah. Ephemeral Tome for infantry only. At the start of your shooting phase, if you're not within engagement range of enemy units, you get a d6-inch normal move during the shooting phase, but you can't charge. But it's at the start of the shooting phase, so it's like move, jump, shoot, but you don't get to jump back.
Yeah.
66 Seal, improve your AP in shooting by 1. So it's a shooting. So far, everything is shooting, but the detachment rules melee. And then Pyre Soul, at the start of your shooting phase, select an enemy within 24 inches of you. They just take D3 mortal wounds. Okay.
Yeah.
And then strats are somebody does mortal wounds to one of your psychers. They take mortal wounds back. That you get 5-up Feel No Pain against attacks with damage characteristic of 1. And your ranged weapons get anti-chaos 4-up. You can charge after advancing. 12-inch bubble of no reinforcements around this character at the start of your opponent's movement phase. And somebody moves within 9 inches of you with a normal advance or fall back move, you can make a normal move of 6 inches or just go back into strategic reserves if you have deep strike. This one's weird because I'm like trying to figure out what the character of this one is, and I'm not getting it. Doesn't have one.
It is. It's kind of weird hybrid of like it kind of cares about, the psychic weapons. It kind of cares about shooting, but it also like the main detachment role is just melee weapons. So this one's weird. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but it just doesn't seem to have it just does not entirely make sense. Like thematically.
I think it's trying to lean into the psychic thing because your psychic weapons get this, and the strats, like almost all the strats refer to when one of your Grey Knight Psyker units does something. It's like, that's everything that's not a vehicle. Like that's everything in this army is a Psyker except for the tanks. That's it. So it's like, you didn't really need to specify. I guess like Celerity, one Grey Knight Psyker, like the one that lets you advance and charge, is Grey Knight Psyker infantry. So okay, I can't do it with Dread Knight, but they're all Psykers. This one is like it's character that doesn't really do anything, and it doesn't feel cohesive. It just kind of, all over the place. On the other hand, we've got the Sanctic Spearhead, which is your vehicle detachment. Every time a Grey Knight vehicle unit from your army advances, it just auto shunts 6 inches, and their weapons get assault. Hey, we found the shunt. Yep.
It's just limited to vehicles.
But that's what you've 3 Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knights and 3 regular Dread Knights and maybe 3 Vendreads. okay, I can make this work. You will want to take a little bit of infantry because 2 of the enhancements are infantry only. You've got Driven by Duty for a walker only. When you pile or consolidate, it's up to 6 inches. It's okay. It's not bad. It's more movement. Quickening Foci in your movement phase. Whenever you disembark from a transport, that unit can reroll charge rolls. Okay, so maybe and a Land Raider. Sigil of Exigence. When you have been shot, when they are selected as a target, you can just remove them from the battlefield and then set them up and just deep strike them somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, your enemy does get to pick a new target if you make them not a legal target, but that last cannon is going to hit my Dread Knight. Whoop, no, it not. No, it won't.
Yeah.
And then Spiritus Machina, which is also for infantry. In your shooting phase, each time a bear's unit is selected to shoot, if they disembark from a transport this turn, you can reroll wound rolls on the turn when you disembarked. I think the rerolling charge rolls is better. I mean, rerolling wound rolls is good, but I need to make the charge first, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Quickening Foci is better. Interesting. I think the Sigil of Exigence is the one where I'm like, oh, yeah, you definitely want that, because you're going to have even fewer models than normal, because you're going to be running vehicles, so you want to keep what you have alive. And that might let you shunt onto an objective somewhere and like screw with your opponent's plans. So
yeah.
And then your strats are all 4 up, feel no pain against mortal wounds for a vehicle. If you target a monster vehicle, add 1 to the wound roll. Heal 3 lost wounds from a Psyker vehicle. So not the tanks, but the Nemesis Dread Knights. Redoubled assault is shoot and charge after falling back for a vehicle. Force wave, you can Kool-Aid Man through terrain.
Yeah.
And Argent, and remember, you can also you advance through you advance 6 inches, so, and that does include advanced moves. So you can just like I said, Kool-Aid Man through terrain, and then after you charge, every enemy unit within 3 inches of the charging vehicle makes a battle shock test at -1. This one's solid. If you're going to lean into vehicles, this one's totally fine.
This one could be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. And then finally, the Augurium Task Force. This one's interesting. From the second battle round onwards, at the start of your movement phase, if you did not select the maximum number of Grey Knights units from your army, so in a 2,000-point game, you can select 3. So if you select 2 or less, then you can select 1 Grey Knights unit from your army that is on the battlefield that could have been selected for Gate of Infinity, and then you can put them into strategic reserves so you can deep strike somebody, you can jump somebody on your own turn.
Yeah. Which they do have the designer note in there saying that they'll be, where you want them at the end of your command phase.
Right.
Which can be important for scoring and whatnot.
Right. So yeah, it's like, okay, I'm on this objective. Now I need to be on another objective. And remember, that could be a strike squad that has sticky objectives. So
yeah.
Your enhancements, Grimoire of Conjunctions, once per battle, you can use the enhancement at the start of the fight phase, add 4 to the strength of your melee weapons. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Shield of Prophecy, once per battle at the start of the battle round, you can use this enhancement. Until the end of the battle round, add 2 to their toughness. Also very solid. Yep. 1 foot in the future, during your every time you're set up in your reinforcement step, you can use this enhancement. Then you get to make an extra move of D6 inches, but you can't declare a charge. I don't like that one just because that D6-inch movement could screw you.
Yeah.
And then Doomseer's Amulet, when they're set up in reinforcements, select an enemy unit within 12 inches and visible. They have to make a battle shock test at -1. And they're all decent. There's no big killer enhancement that I necessarily see, but they're all decent. I think 1 foot in the future is the worst one, just because, again, if I was doing that, I'm gonna roll a 1 on that extra movement and then give up my ability to charge. You can't bank on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going with maybe a unit that is not really going to charge, stick this on a Brotherhood champion and put them in a purgation squad.
Yeah.
That lets you move your purgation squad around a little more.
Right. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's just like of that bunch, it's probably the least impressive, but it's okay. Yeah, it's still got its uses. And then the strats are mostly formed around the concept of, I saw this all coming. So rather than being more like mechanically consistent, they're just more like, oh, I figured out where you're going to be, so I can ignore all modifiers to weapon skill, ballistic skill, or hit roll. Or I knew where you were going to be, so when I fight or shoot you, I crit on 5s. I knew where you were going to be, so when you shoot me, you're at -1 to hit. I knew this unit was going to die, so they get a fight on death, but it's not on a fixed number. It's on if it's higher than the current battle round number. So it's more useful. Like, oh, they died early on. They've got to, like, if they die on turn 2, they can fight on death on a 2-up, which is kind of interesting. One of the few strats that gets less useful the longer the game goes.
Right.
Redirected strike, select a Grey Knight Psyker unit that's not within engagement range, put it into deep strike. Or if it had deep strike, which again, like almost all your stuff has, put it into strategic reserve. And again, this is at the end of your command phase, so you will still have scored because it's at the end of your command phase, so you get to choose what order they go in. And then Mirage of Echoes, after an enemy unit is set up in your opponent's reinforcement phase, you pick a Psyker unit within 12 inches that's not in engagement range, they go into strategic reserve. So you've got like, oh, you wanted to land near me? No, I'm not there.
I think this one has a potential to actually be one that we see a lot also, just because even more movement shenanigans will make this a very flexible and help you score objective points and such.
Yeah, like this one, yeah, definitely has the potential to really mess with your opponent's plans and just jump around. Yes, and especially with the timing on it's like you could just say now basically you only get to do it with one, so you should never, like, you should always do one less than what you normally could with Gate of Infinity.
Right.
Yeah, because there's no benefit in like, well, I'll hold back on 2 of them. Well, now you just gave up one that isn't going to do anything for you. But if you do it with 2, so it's like, yes, if I'm doing a 2,000 point game, if I'm playing Augurium, I'm always going to teleport 2 and then do the 3rd one on my turn, and that's yeah. So I do agree. I think that one's got some real potential. Brotherhood Strike, a lot of potential just to be just the good all around detachment.
Yeah.
Hallowed Conclave's not bad. Sanctic Spearhead, if you're going to go vehicle heavy, very solid. I think Banishers, I'm still not really sure. Like, the theme is not strong on that one.
Yeah, I almost feel like Banishers was a detachment that they kind of wanted to be focused around your purifiers.
Mm-hmm.
But the Grotsmas detachment still exists. So if you're going purifier heavy, you take that one.
Right. And I think that's one thing to point out is like since the army rules the same, none of this changes. Like the Grotmus detachment is still solid. Like that.
Yeah.
That one is still fine.
Yeah. It is still an excellent choice.
Yeah. So unlike the Black Templars one, these detachments actually see where you lean into. Like it does change up kind of how you play, your play style. It doesn't feel just like more ways to hit people with stick. It's like going to change like kind of how cagey or aggressively you play, what units you're going to take in meaningful ways.
Yeah.
So all around, I'd say the Grey Knights Codex, I think it's fine. I think it's good. Yeah.
I think there's just more opportunity to like just be kind of better at scoring more objectives with the low model count elite army, and this just gives you even more tools to like do that.
I agreed, and I think losing the default detachment of the 6-inch shunt, I don't think you're really losing much. I think what you get in exchange is actually better.
Yeah,
kind of all around. All right, well, that will go ahead and wrap it up for our look at Grey Knights and Black Templars. Definitely think Grey Knights got the better end of these two updates, but we'll see how it plays out. Maybe Black Templar players can prove me wrong and do something interesting with it, but I think Grey Knight's definitely the better of the two armies, at least from this basic look.
Yeah.
We are just about out of time, so that will wrap up this episode of Preferred Enemies. This was episode, I believe, 330. My God, we've been doing this a long time. But so we will be back in a couple of weeks with some new updates on. Hopefully, we'll know what's coming. Maybe we'll have release dates on Leagues of Votann or something like that, because it seems like it's going to be coming soon. Well, yes, and the Sunday preview is, hey, look, it's Black Templars and Grey Knights. Well, yes, we just talked about those.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy timing.
Yeah, it's weird how that worked out. Anyway, that's all from us. If you want to help support us, there are 3 good ways you can do that. First is join our Patreon. We are patreon.com/preferred enemies. That gives you access to our Discord and helps support the show and helps keep us income neutral. Even if it's just $1 a month, it adds up and helps out. Second is on YouTube. Like us on YouTube, subscribe, leave comments, do all the things that help us fight the algorithm and make our stuff visible. And third is we have a merch store, preferredenemies.com/merch, where you can buy hats, shirts, mugs, etc., and help support us doing the good fight and keep the show going. So that'll be it. Until next time, from Officer here at Preferred Enemies, I'm your host, Rob.
Kevin.
Dennis.
And Richard.
Good night, good gaming, and yeah, most Black Templar players, we know you're cool, and we're sorry about the book.